welcome back to my channel. For those of you visiting for the first time, my name is Kai, and basically on this channel I talk about all true crime cases that happen in Hawaii, the 808 state. So if you like true crime and you love Hawaii, consider subscribing. Full disclosure, I look like poo because my son's sleeping schedule is off, therefore my sleeping schedule is off, therefore the house has not been sleeping well. So I feel as bad as I look, and oh well, I tried to put on makeup. I have no idea how to put on makeup, and I was fighting with those falsies for like 2 hours, and I'm not exaggerating. And so I just figured, you know what, screw it. If I'm gonna look like poo, I might as well look like all the way. So this is it. This is me. And you know what? The case is more important. So who cares about looks, right? Before I talk about today's case, I do want to remind you guys to please be considerate in your comments. I know I only have 10 subscribers, but anybody can leave a comment. Just be considerate. Put it this way, if I read your comment and I feel butthurt, that's not a good comment, and I am going to ban you from the channel. Please, no victim blaming. I know some of these stories and cases, you hear what the victim has done and you're like, well, why did he or why did she do that? That wasn't the smartest. While I agree, it's not cool to victim blame. People make mistakes, things happened. And unfortunately, tragic things happen. So no victim blaming. Today's case is about an unsolved murder. So I do want to just go ahead and throw that out. It is unsolved. The case is active and open. And hopefully by the time this is finished posting to YouTube, there's a crack in the case. So let's jump into today's case. Today we're talking about Miss Amber Jackson. Amber Jackson was born on August 4th, 1952. She grew up in Southern California, to be specific, Riverside. Friends describe Amber as sweet, caring, generous, free-spirited, just a beautiful person with a beautiful soul, huge, huge heart. To many of her friends, Amber was a source of stability. One of her friends, pictured here, Ann Spalding, met Amber in the 70s when they were both in their 20s. Amber had walked into a bakery that Ann was working at, looking for a job. And Ann said when they met, she instantly connected. They were just instantly drawn to each other. And eventually they moved in together and became roommates. So Amber lived with Ann for a few years, and being the natural explorer Amber is, she picked up and moved to the Bay Area in Northern California. She lived there for a while. After that, she moved to Washington State, and she lived there for a few years. And in the year 2000, she made her way over to Hawaii and just fell in love with the place. She was here visiting, and she just absolutely fell in love with Kauai and wanted to make Hawaii her permanent home. So she packed up and moved once again, and she ended up on the island of Kauai. On Kauai, Amber worked as a secretary for the HSTA, which is the Hawaii State Teachers Association. Amber worked as a secretary, but she was a businesswoman. I mean, she was an entrepreneur. She owned a lettuce farm on the Big Island. It seems like she was really into real estate. She would buy properties and remodel them. And by the year 2010, she had already bought 4 different homes. One of her friends, Terry Seplow, is one of her closest and bestest friends on the island, would help Amber decorate these homes. And Terry said, Amber was just a natural talent with a keen eye, and whenever they would go to garage sales and thrift stores, Amber just knew all the right items to pick out, and everything came together just beautifully. In her spare time, Amber loved to hike, kayak, paddleboard. She loved to take her 2 little dogs walking on the beach, and she loved spending time with her friends. Her friends really became like her family. I don't want to say second family because it seems like they were all very close. And, Amber just loved being outdoors. And Terry Seplo's husband, Ken Seplo, said that, Amber just made everything more fun. She was, one of those friends that just, lively, just made it more fun. And I know we all have that friend. And Ken said that Amber never had anything bad to say about anybody. So after reading everything, all the information and the articles I found, this is my personal opinion. Amber just seemed like a really warm, inviting person. Like, one of those people that you meet and you're instantly drawn to and connected just because you feel like it's something about them. Like, they're just so inviting and non-judgmental and just super understanding. I know we all have friends like that. I have a few friends like that, but I just get a sense that's who Amber was. She was just really awesome to be around. I mean, you can just tell from the love that her friends have shown her that she was definitely loved. So, Amber's nephew, Matthew Alexander, he finds out that his aunt is missing, and he flies down from Atlanta, Georgia to Kauai to help in the search. And he rents a plane, and they, search the island. He thinks that maybe she went hiking and she might have fallen somewhere and, got stuck. So he rents a plane. He flies over around the island looking for her. And, again, no luck. Nobody has seen or heard from Amber. So, hours turned into days, days turned into nights. This is just, devastating to Amber's loved ones. But the news to come would be even more heartbreaking. On the morning of July 3rd, 2010, 9 days after Amber was first reported missing, a local pig hunter and his dogs are walking through Kealia, and he stumbles upon a woman's decomposing body. So the police are called, investigators are called, and the woman is identified as Amber Jackson. And the manner in which she died is just shocking to everybody, because here is this nicest, most sweetest person, and she's found to be brutally murdered. The autopsy results report that she died of blunt force trauma to her head, and she sustained multiple injuries from an assault, and basically her skull was crushed. So Amber is found, she's identified, she's found to be fully clothed, but the weird thing is that the only thing that was missing on Amber's body were her shoes. And, a lot of people were questioned, people were interviewed, but nobody was arrested. Nobody was taken into custody. Nobody was handcuffed. Nobody was charged with her murder, because this is now, a homicide, turned, it's a murder. And there's no statute of limitations for homicide, which is a good thing, so that, her killer can be caught, regardless of how many years go by. But nobody's charged for this brutal, heinous, crime. And the investigation stalls. And this was in 2010, and today is 2021. And the investigation is still active and open. Nobody's been arrested. From what I heard, there's DNA evidence that is being processed, and because of COVID, there is a holdup, and so the results of that DNA is going to take a little longer. But they're hoping and hopeful that once the DNA evidence is revealed, that they'll be able to go ahead and arrest someone. So now I want to go ahead and talk about a couple things. Breaking Homicide is a show that did a documentary on the life and the death of Amber Jackson, and the host is Derek. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Derek Lavassiere. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, sir. Anyways, Derek. And so he comes to Kauai and he investigates, and I think they did a really, really great job. Opened up a lot of opportunities. And so I want to talk about a few things that was on the show. And if you haven't seen the show, go ahead and see it. It's called Breaking Homicide, a Murder in Paradise episode on Amber Jackson. So he goes and he interviews Greg Glaser. And Um, I'm gonna say that there's gonna be two strong suspects in this, okay? And let's talk about the first one. The first one is being Greg Glaser, and I say this and I say he's a suspect because one, he was the last known person to see Amber alive. According to Greg, he and Amber had dinner together the night before. So I think it was like June 22nd, right? The night before she was supposed to meet her friends for dinner. So he had dinner with her in the yurt, he said, and after dinner he had asked Amber if she wanted to have sex, and she said no, and so he said okay, and he just watched her walk home, and that was the last time he had seen her. Um, According to Terry Seplow, this is Amber's friend, Amber had told Terry and talked about Greg having these temper tantrums. I guess Greg has a tantrum. I guess Greg has a temper, and Amber would tell Terry that Greg would get into these fitful rages and would just get super super mad, to the point where Amber would have to tell Greg, "Hey, you gotta calm down. The neighbors are gonna think you're beating me." And I guess Amber had talked about this object in Greg's possession by his bed that Greg called the protector. I guess it was some sort of tool, some sort of device, weapon that Greg, called the protector, and to do what the name is, protect it. And I guess it's some kind of weapon. Now, when Greg was asked about this on Breaking Homicide's show, Greg denied ever having anything called the protector. I mean, in my opinion, he was believable when he was like, "What are you talking about?" I kind of did a little research, and I looked more into Greg, and I found that he does have a bunch of TROs, a bunch of temporary restraining orders. Like, he has a couple against him, and then he took out a couple TROs on other people. So there's definitely some kind of anger slash violence issue going on. Derek's show, there's this woman named Michelle Stewart. I believe her name is Michelle Stewart, and she calls Terry and says that she has some information about the night that Amber went missing. Now, I'm just repeating and paraphrasing what I saw on the show, okay? This is not my investigation. This is from Breaking Homicide. So this Michelle Stewart says that the night that Amber went missing is the same night that this guy named Rick Coyne, his name is Richard Francis Coyne, and I'll put a picture up of him right here, also went missing. I guess he went missing the night June 23rd and showed up the next morning, June 24th. And his wife, Karen, also couldn't get a hold of him. So all night, this Michelle Stewart and Karen were trying to call Rick, and he wasn't answering. And he shows up the next morning, June 24th, and says that he was hiding on the beach because he had banged a parked boat with his truck. So he was afraid of the police or whatever, so he was hiding out. And Michelle says that she thinks he was drinking a lot that night. And what's interesting to me is that I kind of did a little digging on Rick, and I found that he actually was a graduate in the Kauai drug court class. And I think there was like, I forget what class it was, like the 20th class or something like that. But here's a picture of him graduating drug court. So the fact that he's drinking again, this is an issue. This is something that needs to be looked into. Rick shows up at Michelle's house in like the middle of the night on July 3rd and asks Michelle to help him burn his truck. And Michelle's like, "What? No, why?" And he says, "Well, because I banged that parked boat, and I'm gonna report my truck being stolen, and I'm gonna burn it." So Michelle and Rick's wife Karen go over and look at the truck. They get to the truck, and it's like an avalanche. The truck is burnt down. Michelle looks in the back seat, and she sees her fireworks. So Rick had taken her fireworks from her house. And Michelle also sees a pair of women's shoes. And when she asks Karen, "Hey, is that your shoes?" Karen says, "No, that's not my shoes." Now remember, Amber, when she was found in the forest, she had all of her clothes, but she was missing her shoes. So that is interesting to me. And apparently, when Amber's body was found, Rick decides to burn his truck around the same time. What a coincidence! And he reports it. He lies to the police and reports it stolen. Doesn't even tell his wife that he's leaving. He just ups and goes to the mainland. So that is like a red flag. There's a bunch of red flags, if you ask me. Disappearing on the same night that Amber is missing, not being able to get a hold of him on that same night, that's just odd. And then showing up the same day that Amber's body is found, saying that he needs to burn his truck, red flag. Finding a pair of women's shoes that doesn't belong to Karen, his wife, in his truck, red flag. Digging out, leaving Kauai and not even telling your own wife, definitely a red flag. So those two are the main suspects. But as of today, like I said, nobody has been arrested. Nobody has been charged. No closure. There's no justice. And I feel bad for Amber's family and friends. I really do, because I put myself in their shoes. And, I'm sure they felt all the emotions and the feelings of being, upset, very angry, frustrated, disappointed, just at some points probably just losing hope. All right, guys. Well, that's all I have for you. Please let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think Greg is the person that committed this crime? Or do you guys think Rick Coyne is the murderer? Do you think it's maybe both of them, or maybe not any of them? Maybe it's somebody totally not even on the police radar? What are your guys' thoughts? And I want to know, have you guys seen Breaking Homicide, this episode with Amber Jackson? Let me know what you guys think. If you think about it, there's a murderer walking freely somewhere out there. I know there's murderers walking freely everywhere, but in this specific case, there's someone who murdered a woman in cold blood and is getting away with it, just living his or her, life every day, going on, Meanwhile, Amber is lying, 6 feet under with no justice. So anyways, that's all I have for you guys. If you guys like this video, please subscribe. I'd love to see you next week. Please leave a comment. I know I said on my first video, my intro video, that I was gonna do a safety tip on every video, and I haven't started that yet, but I will start that next week. I promise. Pinky promise. Pinky promise. Pinky promise. All right, guys, take care and stay safe. Aloha. Bye. Bye. Bye.